Well, if you're considering turning your landscape into a backyard wildlife habitat, then you'll want to join me because today we're on the road in Tulsa in a relatively urban area in the Forest Creek subdivision. And we're at the home of Mr. and Mrs. George Shoup, and joining me is Mrs. Shoup, and she's going to talk to us about a relatively new landscape. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Now, one thing you've kind of surprised us about right off the bat is you have a lot of hummingbird feeders. How many do you have?
Well, we have 50 hummingbird feeders that we keep going.
Now, that's a little bit different from what we've heard about as far as, you know, how aggressive they are in a pretty small landscape. What have you found to be the key?
Well, I think as long as they have a place to perch, that they can get along. And my husband
show us what you have here.
Has devised these out of a coat hanger, and they will perch on these, and we'll have them all lined up across this wall.
And now you were telling me that July, I guess, is when you have your peak time with them, right?
Yes, mid-July, and they're usually here until mid-September and even as late as October, November.
Now I notice you have an area specifically planted for hummingbirds and a sunflower garden, but
yes.
How long has it taken you to get to this point?
This will be the third summer for this yard. We're starting out slow, and we hope to expand a little bit every year. We'll just simply move our beds out.
Okay, and that way it helps on the budget part of it too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Now this is an interesting plant that I'm not really familiar with. Tell us what it is and what its purpose is.
Well, this is jewelweed, and it is a favorite of the hummingbird. It will get to about 2.5 feet tall. It has a small orange yellow flower on it, and it is a wildflower, and its hybrid is impatiens.
Okay, so it's related to the impatiens, and so it would like shade and a lot of moisture, just like the other one was. Now you tell me it's also called touch-me-not.
Yes, it is.
What about the wood there?
Well, this is a roosting place for the butterflies. Anyone can do this, stacking their wood to create a lot of different crevices. They will also hibernate in the wintertime in this area.
And back here is kind of more of a shaded area, the woodland
This is
garden.
a woodland area. We have the oak leaf hydrangeas. These offer cover for the birds.
And of course you enjoy the flowers and stuff, hopefully too.
Yes, it turns a brilliant red in the fall.
Right. Now this is an interesting, when you said the birds actually fight over this, right?
Yes, they sit on the fence waiting in line for these berries to ripen.
What is this plant here
This is a leather leaf viburnum.
Okay, and so they've bloomed. Were they fragrant flowers?
No.
Some of them are, I know.
These have a smaller flower, but the birds still enjoy them. They will actually eat the flower buds in the spring.
Okay.
And then these berries should become ripe in mid-summer.
And then the show starts, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now you have, of course, feeders and nest box and stuff, but you have an interesting story with this one.
Yes, this is a chickadee box, and a downy woodpecker decided he wanted to move in. He worked on this for a whole weekend, enlarging the hole. And the sparrows ran him off, though. We didn't want sparrows nesting, so my husband went ahead and fixed the hole back to the same size for the chickadee.
And that's a good point, because there are a lot of different usages, I guess, for the birds. I mean, so you may have a chickadee in mind and somebody else decides they want to move in.
Yes.
Now this one provides coverage, I'm sure, but tell us what it is, and you also tell me the hummingbirds like it.
Yes, this is a Abelia, and it has a small white tubular flower, and it will just be covered with these little flowers, and the hummingbirds love it, I guess because they can get so much nectar. And
it's a little bit different because it's white and it's not red, which is the traditional one that we've heard about.
Right.
Now I guess the latest addition to your landscape we're coming up on here, and it's very peaceful. I'm sure you enjoy that too.
Yes.
But this is not a traditional fish pond, is it?
No, this is actually a built-in bird bath, and in the center, the deepest part is 3 inches, and then it graduates to 2 inches and to 1 inch. We have a toad path, so the toads won't drown, they can leave. The birds will actually sit on the waterfall and bathe and play and drink.
Well, it's definitely very attractive in the landscape, and then has a sole purpose for the birds and frogs and wildlife, so that's a very nice addition. Now we get over here in more shaded area, which is real nice, and you've got a lot of your bird feeders and things, but then back on this side again, we go to one of your vining plants. What do you have here?
Yes, this is honeysuckle, and of course in the springtime and summer it provides nectar for the hummingbirds, but it's also great shelter for the birds year-round. We have doves nesting in it, and then in the fall and winter it has berries.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I've noticed that you've done too is you've really been, you may not be formally aware of it even, but you've really thought about the shade and the full sun and which areas have a lot of traffic, and this was
Yes.
one of those areas. And tell us what happened here.
Well, this area stayed muddy. The grass wouldn't grow because we had so many birds feeding at our feeders. So we decided to put in this stone patio. Then we used this vinca ground cover, and it's aggressive, but yet it's very hardy.
Right.
And it looks beautiful, but yet we still have the same amount of birds, if not more, feeding here. It's easy to keep sanitary.
And the last thing is right here in front of your kitchen window where you can
Yes.
watch. And tell us about all the purposes of this one.
Well, the hostas again are for the hummingbirds, and then the baby birds will actually come over here and lay down and sleep underneath the hostas. We have this mister, and the hummingbirds like to fly through this. That's how they bathe. But then the baby birds also like this because it is on the ground and it's very shallow, and they feel very safe bathing in
And
this
you
small
guys
area.
enjoy getting to watch it,
Yes,
right? out of
that's
the-
our bird blind, and we
Okay.
have a table and chairs that we sit and enjoy.
Well, it's really been a treat to see this because it's a small landscape, it's in an urban setting, and it has a formal appearance to it. And I think a
Yes.
lot of people expect wildlife habitats to be a little bit more aggressively grown. And your husband even commented on that,
Yes,
didn't
he didn't want a jungle out here, but as you can see, it looks like anyone else's landscaping, but the birds know there's a
Right.
difference.
And you just made a point of providing food, shelter, and water, and selecting
Yes.
plants for the habitat. Well, thank you
Yes.
for having us out here.
Well,
It's been a
thanks for
nice
coming
tour.
out. Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.